Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about the beginning of the Krakoan era, kicked off by none other than Jonathan Hickman. And I have to say that he gave the mutant side of the Marvel Universe a real shot in the arm. The X titles right before this, actually for a couple of years, like ever since we had the end of Secret Wars, we're going through a real rough patch. It seemed that Marvel didn't know what to do with Marvel's mutants, and at the same time tried to shoehorn in the Inhumans as the new mutants, as like the next big thing because of their whole conflict with Fox. For the same reason, the Fantastic Four had disappeared for a while. So now we're going to jump into House of 10 or X issue 1 and Powers of 10 or X issue 1. And I remember back in the day reading these issues and just really loving this whole change in the status quo, changing things up for the X-Men and mutants in general, even though Krakoa was like a Utopia 2.0. And prior to Utopia, you had Avalon. Like, you guys get the idea. So let's get into these issues. So things start off with the world discovering the existence of Krakoa. We have Magneto as the main ambassador in this first issue, where he explains to the different diplomats that are present that Krakoa is going to be a sovereign nation with everything that entails, and it needs international recognition. And here we have one of the really interesting ideas that Hickman gives us, that Krakoa is going to be able to produce these medicines that they're going to give to the world for free to all the countries of the world that recognize Krakoa. And this whole idea, like, this is going to lead to some interesting story arcs within the Krakoan era. Even though Hickman did not touch on the potential of pharmaceutical companies totally losing their shit over the existence of the Krakoan medicines, and could have had them as like a driving force in trying to destroy Krakoa, that would have been really interesting. And maybe forging an alliance with Orcus, that were the main bad guys to this era. But like, it was weird, the situation with Orcus. Like, they were very present in the beginning and at the end, and would pop up every once in a while, but like, they didn't feel like this extremely dangerous looming threat. Maybe with the exception of Nimrod, because when he pops up in a story, he's real bad news. And the characterization that we got for Nimrod during this era was really interesting. Another big player in Argus was Omega Sentinel. And she seemed a little bit different. Like, we're going to discover further down the line that she's from the future, because back in the day, Omega Sentinel was an ally to the X-Men. So the thing is that Orcus obviously really hate mutants, and they're made from vestiges from other secret organizations within the Marvel Universe. So they have people from AIM, from Hydra, and even from S.H.I.E.L.D. I was really surprised to see that Hickman has totally forgotten about another one of these organizations that he invented that was really awesome, which was Leviathan. The thing is that basically Orcus has set up shop in the solar base that Tony Stark had created during the story arc running up to Secret Wars, with all those solar panels that, for the life of me, I can't remember how that is called. The thing is that now those solar panels are powering a new master mold. Then we get this other situation where we have Mystique and Sabretooth getting into trouble. We have the Fantastic Four jumping in, trying to stop them. And the thing is that Cyclops tells the Fantastic Four, look, this is something that's under our jurisdiction. It's a mutant thing. We're going to try them in mutant courts. And Mr. Fantastic is like, what the hell? Like, you're on US soil. And this is like a pretty interesting angle where we're going to have this friction between the Krakoan mutants and the rest of the superhero community. This extraterritorial jurisdiction that Krakoa is going to have over their citizens is going to lead to quite a few interesting stories during this era. Also, this is going to set up the whole situation that we're going to have this conflict between the Fantastic Four and the Krakoan mutants, and the fact that Franklin's not going to be a mutant anymore. I really did not like that retcon. It felt completely unnecessary, but whatever. Then we're going to jump into Powers of 10, where we get the big revelation that Moira McTaggart, she's back, she's alive. Now, before you think that they retconned her death, nope, she's a mutant, and her power is to resurrect herself. And every time this happens, it restarts the timeline. And she retains the memories of her previous lives every time. She's even conscious when she's in the womb. So now we have the timeline that has been restarted, and for the first time, she lets Xavier know about this. Like, she tells him, dive into my mind, learn everything that I've learned over all these lives, because we have to save mutant kind. Because this is going to push to the creation of Krakoa, because she tells Xavier there's going to be some really dark stuff in the future, and we have to be prepared. And this whole setup was freaking awesome. I love the idea. Even though the whole payoff further down the line with Moira and her master plan sort of sucked. And then she also became a evil robot. Yeah, things sort of went south with her. But that aside, Moira, Magneto, and Xavier are going to be the ones that they're going to start this push to create Krakoa. So we get a glimpse of these future timelines and how Orchis and Marvel Sentinels have taken everything over. We get to see some really interesting future mutants too. How they've been hunted almost to extinction, and how humanity has fused themselves with machines and with AI. Now this whole situation, it's really interesting, and Hickman has already gone down this path previously with the Avengers. It would have been cool to see Hickman fuse those two realities because they were so similar. And I totally thought we were going to see Ultron during some moment during the Krakoan era, because Ultron did play an important role in Hickman's future vision during his Avengers run. It would have been super interesting to see Ultron trying to hijack Orchis and take him down a different path and have that whole conflict within Orchis itself, but that never happened. And we get to see this fascinating evolution of Nimrod, where he has a very quirky personality at first. This seems not to be the same Nimrod that had traveled to the past in the old school X-Men run during the 80s. But the thing is, we're going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.